let's discuss what should be going on with the Justice Department. I'm sure it's going to be taken seriously by a lot of people, especially on the right, and how we get past all this noise. Two better minds, okay? Journalist, best-selling author, Bill O'Reilly. Democratic strategist, legend, James Carville. Gentlemen, thank you for coming in tonight to help me. Bill, to me, this is such a layup. I don't care about Epstein the way a lot of other people do. I don't think there's a client, we talk all the time. But just put out whatever you can. Just show that you're just putting it out. Just put it out. What am I missing about this?
Well, I'm going to scold you for conflating the two stories about the Russian collusion and Epstein. They're two separate stories. And I don't think they're linked in any way. All right?
They're just linked in terms of timing and convenience. Substantively, they're not connected.
They're not connected for the American people. Okay? They're two different situations. So the Tulsi Gabbard drop of classified information that's now declassified, the headline in there is that John Brennan, former director of the CIA, is in trouble. And I believe he will be indicted. And the telling part of this is that, and this is, I'm quoting from the report from the Select Committee on Intelligence, the House Select Committee, is that Brennan knowingly, all right, published 3 reports containing information that was, quote, unclear, of uncertain origin, potentially biased or implausible. If that's true, and we need to give Mr. Brennan due process, he's going to be charged.
Well, you also need to prove
So they'll present that evidence in front. They'll present the evidence in front of a grand jury. Now the others, Comey and it's not quite as clear. Mm-hmm. So Brennan has the big exposure here. All right. Now Comey, it's how much he knew about what Brennan was doing, and I can't answer that question. That again has to be investigated. So that's the headline in the Tulsi Gabbard situation. The headline in Epstein is from the latest Wall Street Journal article published tomorrow. It's on the internet now, which says that the Justice Department has some kind of folder. The journal tried to describe it as a leather-bound folder. Within the folder are, quote, hundreds of names associated with Epstein. Hundreds, okay? None of whom are under investigation at this time. No one.
Right.
Therefore, they can't let that out. Because if they did, the federal government would be sued for billions of dollars. Because if you attach any name to Jeffrey Epstein at this point in time, the person attached is going to get hurt, even if they're not under investigation, and nothing to do with it, or whatever. And that goes for President Trump as well. So I just finished watching CNN, and I'm sorry to take Carville's time, and I'm interested to hear what he has to say. I just watched CNN, and it's a race to the bottom over there. They're using tabloid people now, disgusting, awful human beings who come in, and they're trying to tell their audience at CNN that Trump was somehow involved in molestation. That's what they're trying to weave over there. It's horrible, based on nothing, okay? So that's what's going on. I'm pleased to be here on NewsNation to clarify the record.
Look, until I see otherwise, I don't have any reason to believe that it's anything other than the obvious. Of course, Trump knew Epstein. They were friends for a long time. They had a falling out. They both said that to multiple people, that they had a falling out over how Epstein conducted himself, not this criminality. But look, if they can put something else out, fine, but the innuendo is just getting us nowhere. Jimmy, this is my problem with this.
That's right.
I differ with Bill. Look, Tulsi Gabbard hasn't unearthed any new information. This came from a Republican-only drafted report. It's an opinion, the Russiagate stuff.
No,
and they're going to give it to the
Schiff.
It was a Republican-only report.
Was the no. This came from the House Intel Committee, where Schiff was the chairman. It didn't come from Republicans.
Right, but the committee report that she's talking about was drafted by Republicans. But the report that came out wound up confirming what the IC said. All I'm saying is, Bill, it doesn't take us anywhere. It's just a distraction. I'm not saying substantively it's connected to Epstein.
I wouldn't want to be John
but it's
Brennan
done, James.
tonight.
Well, look, I wouldn't want to be him either, because when the government comes after you, you generally lose. But, James, we know what's going on here. Is there an opportunity in this for Democrats to do more than go on the flames?
First of all, let me put an end to all this nonsense. The Senate Intelligence Committee in 2016, headed by Marco Rubio, bipartisan, unanimously said Russia tried to interfere on behalf of Trump. What are we arguing about? All right, the Mueller report said that. This is idiotic. Let's just call it what it is. And please fact check me. Please do that. Okay, and then let's put this aside. This is all nonsense. All right, complete utter nonsense. That's been spelled 100 times. Of course, Russia tried to interfere. Of course, it tried to interfere on behalf of Trump. We know that. What are we arguing about? Who won the Civil War? I mean, there's some things that just we know. All right, we're
distracting. We're distracting from Epstein. That's what we're doing, and it's a little effective. It's not going to take the bullseye off Epstein and those files.
I don't know what happened with Epstein. I'm like anybody else. I'm curious. I'm suspicious. Okay, it seems, it seems fishy to me. But I know that Russia tried to interfere in the 2016 election. I know that. I've been told that by a bipartisan committee in the United States Senate that was headed up by the current Secretary of State. I don't know what Tulsi Gabbard, what she's even talking about. But we have enough that we can discuss, like how they're cutting the budget to combat human trafficking and underage sex trafficking. That's something that I do know. And that's something that's currently going on. And I know that that's a problem. I know that we already know what happened with Russia interference.
Right, I'm with you.
Right, I'm going to fact check. Can I fact check, James?
Go ahead. Absolutely.
Can I fact check it? He wants to be fact checked. Look, I want to give James Carville anything that he wants, and he asked to be fact checked, so here I am. Okay. The Senate report, Marco Rubio, was 2 years before the House intel report, number one. The Senate report said that Putin tried to meddle in the election, which is true. The House report upped it to discombobulating the Russian collusion whereby Putin's minions met with Donald Trump Jr., had people inside the Trump campaign, had a coordinated effort. That's a lot different than meddling. Two different reports, 2 years apart, way different conclusions. But
I know, but Bill, hold on, guys. Yeah, but hold on. In 2018 March, the report that came out from the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence was drafted solely by the Republican majority. That is the fact. Now, I'm not discounting their findings. I'm just saying that, Bill, this is a headline searching for a story. That's all. And I get the distraction. I just don't know why the president doesn't lean into better things for him.
Can I ask one question? Did the Mueller report come out after the Republican, not bipartisan, the Republican 2018 report? Give me the timeline. Did Mueller come out after that? Because we know the bipartisan committee in 2016 said that Russia tried to intervene on Trump's behalf. We know the Mueller report said that. They said it didn't rise to the level of indicting him for collusion. We already know that. We're arguing whether the earth is
Mueller
round.
Mueller was before the House committee that was the Republican majority report.
All right. So Mueller and the bipartisan committee says, and all we have
started before, and Mueller was 2017. The House report was 2018. Mueller concluded in 2019.
Okay, Mueller concluded. All right, so he concluded the report. The earth is round,
yes.
people.
I want you guys
to try to intervene on Trump's behalf.
Yeah.
Period. End of story. I'm just not going to argue.
We got to take a break. I have to run the show now. We got to take a break, but I want you to, the report that Tulsi, no break, it does, all right. The report that Tulsi Gabbard declassified, all right, my notes, and I could be wrong here, was on September 18th, 2020. That's when it was released. There are a lot of reports. But I think that we're getting lost in the weeds here, okay? because there's just too much coming at the audience. One report said that Putin tried to meddle. True. The other report said the director of the CIA knowingly used phony stuff, okay, to try to get
Yeah, that's what the
warrants
Republicans wrote.
and other things. Okay, but Schiff signed off on it.
I don't know that he signed off on it. It was written by the Republican majority. I doubt he signed off on it.
He had to.
I think they put out their own
He had to
version.
sign off on it.
But look, either way, Bill, I'm just saying this. You say too
Tulsi
much is
put out
coming
the
at the
wrong
audience.
version, you got a big scoop.
No.
Okay.
Other than MAGA, other than ultra MAGA, who cares about any of this? If you live in Indiana, if you live in Louisiana, you're worried about the tariffs. You're worried a little bit about what's happening with the ICE policy. You're worried about your national security and whether jihadists are coming for us again. Nobody's worried about any of
That's
this
why
BS.
Trump is so mad.
I don't know why, but he's continuing
That's why Trump
it.
is so angry. That's why Trump is so angry. You and Trump are simpatico. He's going, are you kidding me? I just made a great deal with Japan. The stock market's up 500 points to the highest level.
So
and
talk
all
about
CNN
that.
and MSNBC, the Wall Street Journal, and everybody else can do is try to drag me into Epstein. So you are agreeing that Trump has an excellent point here, correct?
Pull a Carville. Pull a Carville and talk about the economy. That's what affects everybody in the majority in this country. Talk about the economy.
Every time Trump is out there in a press conference, it's all he's getting is Epstein. But there is one very important story here that everybody is overlooking, and that is, did the Wall Street Journal publish a phony card allegedly sent by Donald Trump? There is a lawsuit, a federal lawsuit, followed by,
I had the guy on last
the
night.
president. Okay,
I had the guy on last night.
Jimmy, story.
It is, but Jimmy, did you ever think you'd see a day that Trump would sue Rupert Murdoch and Fox News, or News Corp?
It's not going. He did that just like he sued Bob Woodward. That suit will never get to discovery. For God's sakes, man, I'm 80 years old. I don't want to argue that the earth is round. I know it's round. I don't want to argue that gravity is real. I know it's real. I don't want to argue that Russia interfered in 2016 election on Trump's behalf because I know they did. Okay? If we can argue about some factual dispute, but I know gravity, I know the earth is round, and I know Russia tried to interfere.
We've moved on.
Yep,
We've moved on. This is him suing his buddy.
He's not. He sues everybody.
Well, somebody, listen.
This suit will.
You can move on all you want.
I'm sorry.
You can move on all you want, but somebody's not telling the truth. Somebody
interrupted me.
Is. Look.
Hold on.
Somebody.
Jimmy, make your point, and then I'm going to let Bill end the segment. Yeah, that's true. Somebody's lying. Somebody's lying. No question about it. That's why it'll never get to discovery. That's why it'll never get to discovery. But James, make a last point for us.
Look, we know what happened in 2016. We know that there's a lot that we don't know about the Epstein stuff. We know people are trying to keep certain facts. I find it impossible to believe, but if you want to, you certainly could believe this, that a news organization like the Wall Street Journal would print a story unless they checked, rechecked, verified, fact-checked it to no end. And I know that this will never reach discovery. I know that. I would bet anybody any amount of money that Trump, and he just sues, and just like he sued Bob Woodward, the court's going to throw it out.
No. There's too much risk.
Bill, I want to give you a last word, but I will remind the audience of this. I must disclose this. The president, as far as I'm concerned, when he was Citizen Trump, I was sent a letter, and this can be verified. I don't know why I threw this letter out. This is how stupid I am. Where it was clearly written by President Trump, but it was on his lawyer's letterhead. And he threatened to sue me for a story I did about his net worth, where he didn't just sue me, Jimmy. He didn't just sue my parent company. He sued my parents for giving birth to me.
And he won.
That's what the letter said. I almost got stuck back in the oven.
And he sued the priest that baptized you. Okay, so everybody got called in.
Oh,
All right,
Bill, give us the last word.
Keep your eye on this media story because it's very important. I do a YouTube channel. I hope you got one, Carville. It's youtube.com/Bill O'Reilly.
I do.
We just passed one.
They bought my movie and aired it. I still got a lot of friends.
Yes, they did.
Okay.
But I don't care. I'm not mad.
We just passed. I can't get a word in here. We just passed 1 million subscribers after 3 months, which is unbelievable. And a lot of it has to do with NewsNation. I appreciate you putting me on. And then my book, Confronting Evil. All right, and you two guys were considered, but I did not put you in the book. It'll be out September 9th. You can pre-order.
Well, Hunter Biden put me in. Why didn't you?
BillO'Reilly.com.
Hunter Biden,
I'm sending you the audio card.
I'm leaving alone. Hunter Biden, I'll leave alone. I've had enough of that too. Bill O'Reilly, thank you. Jimmy Carville, always a pleasure. I'm just tired of all the BS, man. We got real stuff to talk about in this country. We don't got to make it up. I'll talk to you later. Look, Jimmy's already out of here. Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.